Hello, distinguished doctors from all over the world. I am Afolabi Adun, the Managing Director of Hospitrain. Hospitrain is a leading training, hospital staff training and consulting firm, and we offer high-quality training services to hospitals all over the world. We have put together a very highly informative and highly beneficial certificate course, Doctor's Effectiveness Certificate course, which is aimed at enhancing the capacity of doctors in relation to non-medical areas. You are good as a doctor, but you also have to look at other areas that will make you an all-round doctor. For example, customer care. Customer care, managing your customer, anger management, work ethics and professionalism, habits of highly effective doctors, occupational safety tips for doctors, understanding telemedicine, teamwork and collaboration, emotional intelligence, time management, goal setting, and then curbing violence against doctors, which has now become a very, very prevalent thing in Africa. So those are the topics we have for you. And I'd like us to please go straight to class now. We are starting off with customer care. So who is the customer? Every hospital has customers. The customer is not just the patient. Sometimes the patient might not even be the customer. The person paying is the customer. So if I take my child to a hospital for medical attention, my child is the patient, but I'm the customer because I'm the one paying. Because the doctor, you must recognize that the patient may not necessarily be the customer. So you should have a good word for the patients and also those who bring them. All right. So let's look at customer care. But for this particular session, I'm talking about the patient now. All right. The 6 pillars of customer care. That's the first thing every doctor should know. The 6 pillars of customer care. The first pillar of customer care is attitude. As a doctor, our attitude matters a lot. It matters a lot. So the first pillar is attitude. The second pillar is interest. The next pillar is action, verbal language. Next one, body language, and then tone of voice. The 6 pillars of customer care. Attitude, interest, action, verbal language, body language, tone of voice. Attitude. This involves being polite. A doctor must be polite, must be friendly, must be positive, must be cheerful when interacting with customers, with patients. Then interest. Interest refers to being 100% customer focused, refusing to be distracted, paying attention to them, to your customers, to the patients, and their inquiries, and conveying to them that they are important. The patient is important because as a patient we have a job to do. Action. This involves taking action and acting on customers' requests, on their concerns. Whatever it is that they've talked about, you act on it. You act on it. Action. Then verbal language. That's the next pillar, the 4th pillar. Responding verbally to customers' inquiries and questions, using the right choice of words, engaging them verbally, giving them alternatives when what they want is not available. It's part of customer care. And then your body language. Because you see, even when your mouth is not speaking, your body is speaking. So poor body language can often undermine otherwise positive messages. And even your posture when talking or attending to customers matters a lot. And then lastly, the tone of voice. This is a very important aspect of customer interaction. We have aggressive tone, we have harsh tone, we have civil tone, we have courteous tone, we have friendly tone. Choose the good ones. Don't be an aggressive talker. Don't be an impatient. Don't have an impatient tone. So those are the 6 pillars of customer care. Those are the 6 pillars of customer care. Number 1 is your attitude. Number 2, we said, is interest. Number 3 is action. Number 4 is verbal language, body language, and then your tone of voice. Other pillars of customer care doctors should be aware of are integrity. Be a man or woman of your words. Say what you mean and mean what you say, and ensure that you do the things you say you will do. Integrity. Then empathy, putting yourself in other people's shoes, in your patient's shoes. No patient. Nobody enjoys being a patient. Nobody enjoys being a liability. Nobody enjoys being carried up and down. But that's where they found themselves. You need to empathize with them. Please, don't be a hard-hearted doctor. Then, of course, being proactive. You have to be proactive. You must anticipate problems before they occur. All right, so those are additional pillars. Okay? Obligations to the customer. What every doctor owes his or her customers. Number 1 is speedy service. Speedy service. within the limits. Of course, you cannot be too fast and then you mess things up. So I mean speedy service, but accurate service. Courtesy, confidentiality. You owe your patients confidentiality. I'm sure we know that. On no account should patients' information be divulged to third parties. We owe our customers patience. We owe the customer consideration, which is important. We owe the customer value for money. Value for the money they are paying. And then we owe the customer a reason to come back in the midst of alternatives. When they walk out of your office, are they going to come back if they ever have a health issue? Or they swear to themselves, this is the last time I'll set foot in this hospital. The last time I'll have anything, and that doctor must not attend to me again. Don't let that be your story. Don't let that be their experience with you. All right? Basic customer care skills every doctor must develop. You must develop active listening skills. As a doctor, you must listen. You must be a good listener. Your listening skills, your communication skills, whether written or verbal, memory retention, your negotiation skills, persuasion skills, efficiency, sincerity, speed of delivery, courtesy, understanding, and empathy. Skills doctors must develop. I say it again. Active listening, clear communication, memory retention, negotiation, persuasion, efficiency, patience, sincerity, speed of delivery, courtesy, understanding, and then empathy. Specific tips for relating with your customers, with patients. Number 1, be personable and connect with customers. Number 2, use appropriate language. Number 3, show that you care. Show that you care. Make your customers feel important. Resolve issues immediately. Be proactive. Don't be reactive. Be proactive. Don't wait for things to go wrong before you start addressing them. Anticipate problems before they occur. Be proactive. 6 steps to diffuse an angry customer. When a patient is angry, a relative is angry, shouting, insulting you, really talking you down. How should your response be? I said this. Number 1, begin by listening. Number 1, begin by listening. What is the issue, sir? What is the issue, ma? Can you please calm down? Begin by listening. Number 2, do not answer emotion with emotion. Because 2 wrongs don't make 1 right. You are responsible for how you respond, irrespective of how you feel. I said that again. You are responsible for how you respond, irrespective of how you feel. So do not answer emotion with emotion. Watch your tone and watch your volume. Don't shout back. Don't use an aggressive tone. Number 4, be solution focused, not problem focused. Be concerned about what is the solution, not necessarily what is the problem. Number 5, take responsibility and take action. Take responsibility. Don't say, it's not my fault. Am I the one that, please leave my office? No. Take action. And then lastly, make some consolatory remarks. Make some remarks that will calm the person down. Please, doctors, all right? Don't engage your patients in fisticuffs. Don't find yourself insulting patients. Don't find yourself shouting at patients. All right. 12 characteristics of bad customer service that doctors must be aware of. Number 1, raising your voice at customers, at patients. Not giving the patient full and undivided attention. Arguing with patients. Hanging up the phone on an angry patient. Eating in front of patients. Putting a call on hold without first asking, especially those of us who are involved in telemedicine. Avoiding eye contact with the patient. Looking elsewhere when talking with him or her. Socializing with other employees when patients are waiting for you. Forgetting to use common courtesies. You don't say please, you don't say thank you, you don't say sorry, you don't say excuse me. That's wrong. Using complex and difficult to understand terms when talking to customers. Don't forget, the patient did not follow you to the medical school. So you know what orthopedic means. What the patient knows is bone. So rather than saying your problem is orthopedic in nature, it's a bone issue. I need to check your buccal cavity. I need to check your mouth. So I'm going to give you ascorbic acid. I'm going to give you vitamin C. Try and don't talk above the understanding of your patients. Complain. Now this is important. Complain about your organization to patients. It's wrong. It's wrong. You have some misgivings about the organization where you work, the hospital you work, and then you are talking to patients about it. You are complaining to patients about the hospital. That's not so nice. That's not so nice. They already have enough problems. Don't add your own to theirs. And then cheating or shortchanging customers. Don't cheat customers. Don't shortchange customers. Don't take advantage of them. Those are characteristics of bad customer service that doctors must avoid. General customer service tips for doctors. Give patients courtesy and respect and regard. Provide patients with information whenever they need it. Don't keep them guessing. Never argue or quarrel or exchange harsh words with patients, no matter the provocation. Let patients feel special. Communicate with patients and their relatives in simple, easy to understand language. Exhibit good manners at all times. Develop close rapport with patients. Be as clean and presentable when interacting with patients. Ensure easy availability of their drugs and medical requirements. And then respond quickly. Respond quickly to them. And lastly, give patients hope at all times. Be positive in your interactions and communication with them. Give them hope. Give them hope. Give them hope. Everybody wants hope. All right? I'm sure you already know the patient's Bill of Rights, so I don't need to go over that again. The patient's Bill of Rights. The right to relevant information in a language and manner that the patient understands. The right to timely access to detailed and accurate medical records. The right to transparent billing and full disclosure of costs. The right to privacy and confidentiality of their medical records. The right to clean, safe, and secure healthcare environment. The right to be treated with respect, regardless of gender, race, religion, ethnicity, allegations of crime, disability, sexual orientation, and sexual beliefs. He has a right to receive urgent, immediate, and sufficient intervention and care in the event of an emergency. He has the right to reasonable visitation in accordance with prevailing rules. The patient has the right to decline care, subject to prevailing laws. He has the right to decline or consent to participate in medical research. He has the right to quality care in accordance to prevailing standards. He has a right to those things. And of course, he has the right to complain. He has the right to complain if he's not satisfied. So those are 12 fundamental rights of the patient. We call them the patient's Bill of Rights. It has been updated to 12 now. So please keep that in mind. Okay? Patients' interaction tips for doctors. Be patient and friendly with patients. Don't get on the defensive. Don't ever give them the impression that they're interrupting or disturbing you. Watch your body language, watch your tone, and watch your pitch. Listen to all that they have to say. Give them a listening ear. Some doctors don't listen. Be a listening doctor. I know sometimes it can be very annoying, very, very frustrating, very, very time-consuming, but try and listen to your patients. Then you must set boundaries. Set boundaries. Physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, time boundaries. Then address their concerns. Address their concerns. Give them a reason to come back in the midst of alternatives. There are alternatives. There are how many hospitals all over the world? So give them a reason to come back to your hospital. And if you do all what I've listed, they'll come back to you. Important traits patients deserve from doctors. What are those traits patients deserve from doctors? Number one, transparency. Be open. Put your cards on the table. Number two, active listening. Trust. Care and connection. Respect. Regard. Maybe that's a better word. Effective communication. Clear, unambiguous communication. Empathy. Access. Clear instructions. Collaboration. Those are traits that patients deserve from doctors. All right. Work ethics tips for doctors now. We are through with customer care. Work ethics tips for doctors. Doctors must exhibit the following qualities. Number one, greater sense of duty, commitment to work, punctuality to work, respect and regard for constituted authority, that's delegated authority, excellence in all that you do, be an excellence-driven doctor, professional appearance, your dressing, your disposition, your demeanor. You must take customer care next more seriously because the customer comes first. Quality service delivery, team spirit and cooperation with nurses and other staff. Cooperate with nurses, cooperate with other staff, with the pharmacists, with the lab guys. with the cleaners, with the non, with everybody. You can't do it alone. You can't function alone. Excellence in communication, honesty and integrity. Then you must avoid conflict of interest. A doctor must not be engaged in conflict of interest. Do your work when you're supposed to do your work. Don't get to work and you're not doing the work. Don't steal the time of your organization for private use. Don't divert patients of the organization to your private hospital. Don't do it. Don't do it. So these are work ethics tips, and then cost reduction consciousness. Help the organization, help the hospital to conserve costs, to save costs. To save costs. At times don't be a waster. Don't waste power. Don't waste drugs. Don't waste reagents. Don't waste whatever is in your custody. Reduce costs whichever way, and have a maintenance culture, because medical equipment costs so much. So be careful. Handle all equipment in your custody carefully. All right? 12 rules of professionalism in the workplace. As a doctor, professionalism is key. Always strive for excellence. Be trustworthy. Be accountable. Be courteous. Be fast in your service delivery. Be honest. Be open and be transparent. Be competent and improve continually. Always be ethical. Be honorable and act with integrity. Be customer focused. Set good examples for your colleagues and your subordinates. Consciously add value to the hospital. And then be serious-minded and conscientious. This is important. This is important. This is important. Anger management tips. Managing your anger when dealing with patients as a doctor. Think before you speak. No matter how angry you are responsible for what you say. Think before you speak, because words spoken cannot be redrawn. 3 things you must do. Be cool, be calm, be collected, even in the midst of pressure. Be cool, be calm, be collected, even in the midst of pressure. Watch your words and be careful what you say at this point. All right? Don't vent your anger on innocent people. Don't vent your anger on anybody you see around you. Who has upset you, direct your attention to that person, and don't let the nurses, other patients now suffer for what somebody else has done to you. Express your concerns in a responsible and objective way. Express your concerns. I take exception to the way you have spoken to me, sir. And I will not accept that. Please withdraw that statement. That's fine. That's fine. Rather than you just taking laws into your hands. Identify possible solutions. Recover as fast as possible and you move on. Once that guy who has upset you has left and you have left his presence, recover and move on. Escalate the matter to your superior, the HOD or whoever. Never take laws into your hands. Never take laws into your hands. And then you as an individual, as a doctor, you must identify what I call your anger triggers and avoid them. What is a trigger? Something that triggers something. Just like when you say asthma triggers. Certain things trigger the attack. For some people it's perfume. Some people it's dust. Some people it's cotton. Some people it is stress. Or it's the weather. Whatever are your anger triggers, avoid them. The things that make you angry, avoid them. Occupational safety tips for doctors. Wear clothes that will not interfere with movement. Protect your back at all times, doctors. Prevent exposure to blood-borne pathogens. Avoid contact with chemicals likely to cause reactions. Eliminate exposure to allergens. Never touch patients' injuries with bare hands, no matter the pressure, no matter the emergency. Use correct disposal of sharp and hazardous waste. Get adequate rest between shifts. Rest, doctors. Keep uniforms and other wares clean at all times. Avoid sharing personal items, blades, shavers. Avoid sharing them, combs, deodorants, and so on. Avoid blood-borne illness. Take blood-borne illness precautions. Take your antibiotics as much as possible. Use lifting assistant tools. Get as much sleep and rest as possible. Drink a lot of water. Practice clearing your mind before you walk. Make up your mind that you will always balance your life. That is important in occupational safety because emotional stress is real. It's real. So find a way to be in control of all that you are doing so that you will not have emotional issues, and then you now break down. So those are things that will help you as a doctor. All right, coping with work pressure. Coping with work pressure and managing your time. Number one, learn to plan ahead. Doctors, learn to plan ahead. Concentrate on your key result areas. What is your key result area? Your KRA. And also your key performance indicators. Those things that are important to you on the job. As a doctor, what are your key result areas? You must do your ward round. You must attend to patients. You know the things that you must check documentation. So concentrate on that. Don't misplace your priorities. Resist the temptation to procrastinate. As a doctor, avoid procrastination. Procrastination is a thief of time. I'm telling you how you can cope with pressure. Never leave undone till tomorrow what can be done today. Avoid procrastination. Do what you need to do when you need to do it. Write down your top priorities for the day. Write down your top priorities for the day. Have a daily action plan. Don't stumble into your day. Try to multitask if you can, but if you cannot, then do one thing at a time. But multitasking will help you to achieve more. Get the hard work done as early in the day as possible. Don't bite more than you can chew. Don't bite more than you can chew. Don't just be accepting work, be accepting patients when you know you can't cope. Keep the distractions you love out of sight. Manage your time well. Manage your time. Nobody has more time than the other. So it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of your use of time. Get your priorities right. Because you see, time is a convertible resource. If you save time, if you maximize time, you can convert it to other things. So have enough time. Have enough time for yourself, for family, for God, and for the job, for socials too. And then give a little allowance for contingencies and unforeseen circumstances. Give a little allowance for such. Is that all right? Now let me give you some teamwork and team building tips. As a doctor, you must be a good team player. What is a team? A team is a group of people organized to work together, interdependently and cooperatively to achieve objectives. As a doctor, you must work together with you must work with your colleagues. You must relate well with your colleagues. Don't be a lone ranger. Relate well not just with your colleagues, with all other staff, with the nurses, with the matrons, with everybody, with the admin guys, with the front desk people, everybody. Be a good team player. Don't forget, a team cannot do well unless and until each and every member is focused and serious about his responsibilities. What does the word team stand for? Team, write this down. The T stands for together. The E stands for everyone. The A stands for achieves, and the M stands for more. Together, T. Everyone, E. Achieves, A. More, M. Team, T-E-A-M. Together, everyone achieves more. Let's look at some qualities of a good team player. Number one, a good team player is always reliable. He communicates with confidence. He does more than is asked. He adapts quickly and easily. A good team player displays genuine commitment to the job and to the team. He assists his team by using his strengths. A good team player understands the team's objectives. A good team player is supportive and trustworthy. He encourages participative decision making. He invites new ideas and feedback from other team members. He makes others comfortable and is helpful towards them. A good team player always has an engaging mind and is patient with others. A good team player is patient with others and is welcoming at all times. What are those things you must avoid as a good team player? Every doctor must avoid the following if you're working in a team. You must avoid being angry or sarcastic while interacting with other team members. You must avoid having an impatient or bored outlook. You must avoid being disrespectful or conceited. You must avoid being proud and arrogant, being pessimistic or anxious all the time. You must avoid being rude. You must avoid being vengeful or hostile. You must avoid not listening to others' opinions and suggestions. If you're in a team, you must listen to others. You must avoid believing you can never be wrong. You must avoid the feeling, insisting on your rights every time. You must avoid having a selfish and self-centered attitude, me, myself, and I. Don't be a selfish individual if you're in a team. You must avoid refusing to trust other team members. You must avoid divulging team information to third parties. You must avoid pride and arrogance. You must avoid pride and arrogance. You must avoid refusing to give other team members credit for team success. He must avoid uncooperative attitude. He must avoid lateness to team meetings. He must avoid poor communication. And he must avoid wrong assumptions and jumping to conclusions. These are things you must avoid as a good team player. And every doctor should be a good team player. Tips on effectively relating with team members. Number one, you must show consideration to all team members. Be sincere and objective at all times, doctors. Don't force your opinions on others. Show gratitude. Have a gratitude attitude. Don't take people for granted. Don't have an entitlement mentality. No. Don't assume that they will know that you are grateful. I like to say this to you. Gratitude unexpressed is ingratitude expressed. I'll say that again. Gratitude unexpressed is ingratitude expressed. Have a gratitude attitude. Learn to say thank you. Listen more than you talk. Don't insist on having your way all the time. Learn to say sorry when you are wrong. Put yourself in other team members' shoes. Do unto others what you would like them to do unto you. Use tact and diplomacy when dealing with people. Be a tactful person. Don't be brash. Don't just talk. Don't say shut up. Instead of saying shut up, you can say keep quiet. I say get out, you can say please leave my office. These are things that will help you. And then lastly, under that, be respectful and polite at all times. It doesn't cost anything. Next, let's look at telemedicine. Telemedicine. Now, this is important because you see, things have changed. Things have changed in the medical world. In fact, telemedicine is even outdated when you look at things like AI and so on. But let's look at telemedicine. What is telemedicine? Telemedicine is the term given to remote healthcare delivery and consultation given to patients at a distance. That's the difference. Tele. You know, when you say teleconferencing, telepathy, it's not remote, it's not immediate, it's not in front of you. All right? So, for example, via the internet, you could attend to somebody via the internet, via video chat apps. All right? And this this is important. Every doctor has to step up his game. We cannot expect people to physically just come and line up in your office. So step up your ICT knowledge and co. All right. So a lot of healthcare providers are now looking to telehealth, telemedicine methods, all right, to help them make tight budgets, and stretch a bit further. Telemedicine allows patients and doctors to converse with one another remotely. That's through some gadgets and so on. All right, I'm interacting with you now. All right, it's not physical; it's online. All right, wherever this can happen. All right. Now, it is important that we look at some areas of telemedicine. What are the benefits of telemedicine? Number one, it opens up the potential to provide patients with convenient and easily accessible healthcare. It creates the possibility of providing healthcare to people who might be lacking in healthcare facilities. Telemedicine helps patients to connect with physicians on a more regular basis, thus allowing patients to forge better relationships. And then lastly, the biggest potential benefit of telemedicine is that it could be used to provide patients with better care, thus enhancing life quality, all right? So the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Now we have different models, different ways of telemedicine. We have texting or mail. We have video conferencing or telephone encounters. We have remote monitoring devices. We have imaging and test interpretation, real time, websites, smartphones, and so on. Now, are there disadvantages of telemedicine? Emphatically, yes. Confidentiality is a major issue. You don't know who else is online. You don't know who else is picking that information or that conversation. So confidentiality, complexity. It might be difficult to explain things without the person being physically in front of you. And there will be cases of misdiagnosis, could also be another issue. Controlled substances, fraud and abuse, medical liability. Somebody might say you said what you didn't say, and then because you didn't write it down. Data accuracy could also be an issue. And patient's privacy. So those are some barriers which I would like you to consider, right? Okay? Pros and cons. Telemedicine saves time, advantage, by skipping the commute and waiting room. But the disadvantage there is that there might be a follow-up, and the person will still have to come to see you physically. So you might as well have come the first time. It helps you avoid exposure to infectious bacteria, all right, and other germs, because there's no physical contact. But you might also not be able to choose your healthcare provider if you're doing that. That's its advantage. And another advantage, it allows access to health services that might not be available near you. So even if it's not available near you, the person can get to it, all right? But the disadvantage is that the person will have received a better care if he came physically, all right? So basically, the things you need to be good in telemedicine, internet facilities, or you need data, all right? And then you also need to be very, very careful in the way you relate. So in summary of all I'm saying, vis-a-vis telemedicine, every doctor has to be much, much, much more good in ICT. Step up your ICT, your ICT skills, all right? Now let's look at emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is how well individuals identify and manage their own emotions and react to the emotions of others. It is the capacity to be aware of, to control and to express one's emotions and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Emotional intelligence. We have financial intelligence, we have IQ, we also have emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence in the medical profession, let's look at some things there. Number one, where can one use emotional intelligence in medical profession? Being able to recognize patients' positive and negative feelings, managing your own emotions and handling the feelings appropriately, motivating yourself and also motivating your patients. It should be helpful there. Recognizing the emotions in your patients and empathizing. And then developing the skills to manage your emotions, the emotions of your patients. So emotional intelligence will help you to do all this. Now, what are the 5 elements of emotional intelligence in medical practice? Number 1, self-awareness. Empathy. Self-awareness, knowledge of yourself. Empathy, putting yourself in people's shoes. Motivation, self-motivation, refusing to be demotivated. But there are so many things that will try to demotivate you, especially in our country, in the country where I live, Nigeria. The economy, the demands of family, the demands of society, but refuse to be demotivated. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. Refuse. Have you made mistakes? Dust yourself and move on. There's nothing wrong in failing. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a vital part of success. The only thing worse than failing in life is not trying at all. So, no matter how many times you have failed, you are still better than the man who never tried. Self-regulation, saying no to yourself, refusing to act on impulse, restraining yourself in many areas, and then lastly, social skills, developing your ability to interact with people. So the 5 elements of emotional intelligence: so self-awareness, empathy, motivation, self-regulation, social skills. 13 signs of high emotional intelligence. Number 1, you control your feelings and your emotions. You see criticisms positively and you benefit from them. You show authenticity. You demonstrate empathy. You appreciate or praise others. You give helpful feedback. You apologize easily when wrong. You forgive and you forget. Even if you don't forget, at least forgive. You keep your commitments. You're a man or woman of your word. You say what you mean and then you mean what you say. You help others. And then you protect yourself from emotional sabotage and emotional blackmail. Now, let's round up this segment by looking at signs of negative emotional intelligence, traits that doctors must avoid. Negative traits you must avoid. Number 1, being impatient with patients. Forgetting to use simple courtesies to your patients. 3, not making your patients feel wanted and valued. 4, living by the adage, do as I do, not do as I say. Sorry, do as I say, not do as I do. You don't live by example. Focusing on too many things at the same time. Not encouraging interactions with your patients. Using derogatory and abusive words on your patients. Not communicating clearly. You must avoid that. Not taking responsibility for your mistakes. You try to pass the buck. Refusing to focusing on too many details and you forget to explain. Showing little or no personal commitment to the vision of your organization. Failing to appreciate those who deserve to be appreciated. And then insincerity and lack of integrity. Don't be a doctor that has integrity deficits. Don't shortchange people. don't have integrity issues. Let's go to 13 habits of highly effective doctors. Number 1, they have sympathetic and empathetic attitude. Number 2, they are friendly. Number 3, they have a sense of humor. They don't take everything as seriously as all right? They have a good sense of humor. They are patient. They are objective. They are sincere. They have tact. They deal with people with tact and diplomacy. Next, they are fair in their dealings. They are tolerant. They are innovative. They are intuitive. They are discerning. And lastly, they have good documentation and communication skills. 10 qualities of an outstanding doctor. Number 1, compassion. Number 2, understanding, empathy. Number 3, honesty. Number 4, competence, commitment, humanity. They are humane. Courage, respect, and then optimism. They are positive. They are optimists. They are optimists. They see the positive side of everything. All right? Goal setting tips for doctors. As a doctor, you must set goals. You must set goals. You must set goals. And you must understand that there's a difference between a goal and a wish. So let me look at some differences between a goal and a wish. Number 1, a goal is... Now, I want to say this to you. Why should you set goals? Because you see, doctors, things don't just happen. People make things happen. The future belongs to those who set goals, who plan for it. Don't say what will be, will be. Don't say when God is ready, he will do it. One of these days, I'll travel out for greener pastures. One of these days, I'm going to get a bigger car. One of these days, that's not goal. That's just our wishes. So number 1 difference between a wish and a goal. A wish is something you hope or want to do. A goal is something you decide to do. A wish is vague and ambiguous. It's not clear. A goal is clear, specific, and definite. A wish inspires you and makes you happy. A goal drives you and makes you serious-minded. A wish has no time target. A goal has a specific time target. A wish, you say one of these days, soon and very soon, in the near future, by the grace of God, in the not too distant future, when God is ready. No, a goal has a specific time. By December 2026, 2025, I will have, I'll take you more serious than the person who said one of these days. A wish makes you a passive wisher. A goal makes you an active doer. A wish requires imagination and thinking. That's all. A goal requires hard work, effort, and drive. A wish is not measurable. A goal is measurable. A wish is free. Anybody can dream. They say if wishes were horses, beggars will ride. But a goal has a price. It's not free. What's the price? Hard work and commitment. A wish is in the mind. A goal is on paper. It must be written down. A wish is backed by mere words. A goal is backed by plans and actions. A wish involves hope. A goal involves actions. So those are differences. Characteristics of goals. We have what we call the SMART rule, the SMART features of goals. So a goal must be specific. That's the S. It must be measurable. It must be achievable or attainable. It must be relevant. And it must have a time frame. We call it SMART. S stands for specific. M stands for measurable. A stands for achievable or attainable. R stands for relevance. And then it must be time-based. It must have a time base. So steps in setting goals now. What are the steps in setting goals? Step 1, decide exactly what you want to achieve. What do you want to achieve? You want to start your own hospital? You want to get a bigger car? You want to travel out of the country that you live in? You want to get married? You want to build a house? You want to move into a bigger apartment? Decide exactly what you want to achieve. Step 2, determine your starting point. Start from what you have with start from where you are with what you have. Step 3, you think on paper. Write down your goal. Don't say, I will remember. No, don't keep it. As long as your goal is not on paper, it's a wish. Write it down. A short pencil is better than a long memory. I'll say that again. A short pencil is better than a long memory. Write it down. Write it down. Then you identify the external factors. We call that SWOT analysis. You carry out SWOT analysis. Determine your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Step 5, you communicate the goal to all concerned parties. Communicate the goal. Communicate the goal. Step 6, determine the additional knowledge and skills you need. Don't embark on a goal without the requisite knowledge and skills. Whatever it is you want to do, Find out, get information about it. Then you set a timeline on your goal. Give it a time frame. 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 Don't say one of these days. Don't say soon and very soon. Give it a time frame. Tell us when. Then you must develop what I call a work plan, an implementation strategy, a modus operandi. How do you want to achieve the thing you want to do? That's what I call work plan. Okay? Then lastly, you take action on your plan immediately. Take action. Only the bold get the bold. Only the bold get the gold. Only the bold get the gold. You have planned for too long. You have thought about it for too much. Step out. Take action on your plan. 20 minutes of doing is better than 20 hours of wanting to do, of thinking, of doing. And then you must visualize the end result. Picture the end from the beginning. All right? So those are steps. Those are steps you will need to take to achieve your goals. All right? I'll round up by talking about hospital violence prevention. Preventing attacks against doctors. This is very prevalent, especially in Africa, especially in the country where I live. Doctors are beaten. Doctors are assaulted. Some are even killed on the job. So let's look at some things. First of all, what are the risk factors? Where could hospital violence come from? We have patients and relative factors. And we also have hospital factors. Hospitals could be the cause of hospital violence. And I'm going to look at that now. So for patient factors, all right, what will make patients or their relatives want to attack a doctor? Number one, inability to control their emotions. The doctor just told them that their breadwinner is dead. They cannot control their emotions, so they attack the doctor. Doctor, what did you say? What did you say? And then they're strangling him. Number two, their mental state. I hope you know that not everybody that is in a suit or a jacket is mentally sound. Some people are not very normal, so they react in very, very rash ways. Then in educational level, the more educated somebody is, the more he will understand that assaulting a doctor is not the solution. Then unrealistic expectations. That's where you have to be careful. Don't give patients unrealistic expectations. Some of them believe that no, once the person gets to the hospital, he cannot die. And then you say he's dead, so it gets violent with you. That's the reality. Then information from external sources. Sometimes you have some religions, some sects that say, don't let the doctor, don't go to the doctor. Come to church, come to the mosque, come to the shrine. And then when the person is about to die because they can't handle it, they now rush the person to the hospital, and then it dies, and then the doctor is the one that takes the brunt. Then beliefs to religion. There are some sects that don't accept blood transfusion. So when you are insisting, and they are saying no, that could lead to violence against you. Economic situation in the country, which has resulted in many people being frustrated and touchy. Everybody is so touchy, so upset now, such that any little thing triggers anger. So these are patients' aspects. Now, the hospital too could precipitate violence against doctors. In what way? System inefficiency. System inefficiency. And the patient is going on, power fails for goodness, and the guy dies. The relatives are going to get upset with you. They were rushing somebody to the hospital in an ambulance. The ambulance broke down. The guy died. The relatives will be angry with you. And so on. Healthcare workers' poor communication abilities. You don't communicate well. Insensitivity and lack of empathy by doctors. You are not sensitive, no empathy. Just tell somebody, your husband is dead, your wife is dead. You have to watch the way you communicate, because that could also, the same way you won't talk to me. See, when they said my mom was dead, and then they come after you. Slow response to situations. When you don't respond fast to situations, and then the patient dies, and then you hear the service say, and we are calling the doctor. We had the nurse calling the doctor. The doctor did not come. And now Michael is dead. Angela is dead. They are going to take it up on you. Slow response situations. Carelessness. Carelessness could also be a reason. I know a particular hospital where an operation was carried out, and I think they forgot something inside the man's body. They sewed him back, and they forgot the scissors or something, and the guy died eventually. Carelessness. Lackadaisical attitude. Lack of confidentiality of patient issues could lead to violence against doctors. When you discuss your patients outside, you divulge patient information to third parties. Now everybody knows that the guy has HIV. Everybody knows that the guy cannot give birth. It's going to come after you if he knows that you're the one who died about that information. Doctors must be discreet. Negligence, abandonment of your patients could lead to violence against you. Then heavy work pressure of staff. The hospital could also be, the workload is so much, and that could make the doctor make mistakes because he's tired. All right? And then staff talking down doctors, talking negative about doctors. Some nurses do this. They talk doctors down to patients. That doctor is incompetent. Somebody died in his hands. He's a small boy, just finished from medical school. He doesn't know what he's doing. Now you tell patients that. The patient said, if anything happens to me, no, it's Dr. Michael. Because I was told by a nurse that he's incompetent. In a particular hospital, a nurse was the one that told the patients that the doctor made a mistake. That thing that is wrong with your son, it was because of a wrong drug. The doctor administered a wrong drug. It was a mistake. But don't tell anybody I told you, but that's what happened. So now the patients the residents are aware, and they come after the doctor. The nurses, the other personnel, they have to be much more discreet, and they must protect you as the doctors. But that will only happen if we relate well with them anyway. All right. So what should we do? What should doctors do to prevent hospital violence? Number one, doctors should be more proactive than reactive. Prevent misunderstandings where possible. As much as we don't wait for things to deteriorate. You see a patient exhibiting violent tendencies, threatening, why don't you nip it in the bud? Why must you wait for him to exhibit everything? So be proactive, doctors. Number two, watch out for early signs of likely violence and quickly act accordingly. Number three, doctors should communicate clearly and effectively. Don't be vague and don't give room for misconceptions and misunderstandings in your communication. Be clear in what you are saying or writing. Number four, don't give patients or their relatives false hope. Don't give them false hope. Don't promise what you know cannot be done. This will lead to disappointment if it's not done. Don't tell them the guy will leave if the person will not leave. Don't tell them I'm working on it. All these things lead to disappointment a lot of times. Number five, you must empathize with patients. Empathize. Put yourself in their shoes. With patients, with their relatives, with their friends. All right? That when they lose their loved ones, don't be too hard. Don't be uncaring. Don't be unemotional. It could lead to violence. Say the doctor did not even care, and then they come after you. Number six, be seen to be as professional and painstaking as possible. Don't give room to be accused of negligence or carelessness. Don't let anybody accuse you of negligence. It was because of doctor's negligence that my brother died. Now, if the family hear that, they might come after you. So be painstaking, be meticulous, and be professional. All right? And then you must know what the hospital policy is for certain things, like gunshot victim treatment, death and arrival cases. Make sure so that you don't accept a dead body and then they think the person died in your custody. So before anybody is brought out of the ambulance, do your tests, check for life, and immediately announce. Don't allow people to jump queues, number 8, and bypass due process and lay down procedures. It could also lead to violence. Somebody has been waiting since morning, and everyone just comes in and gets attended to. That could make somebody get upset and start scattering the place. Then you must constantly watch out for anger triggers of whoever you are dealing with. What are the anger triggers? You said something, the person is getting aggravated, change. Change whatever you have said to make it calmer. Watch out for anger triggers. Then you watch your tone, doctors. Watch your tone, watch your language, watch your attitude. I gave you the 6 pillars of customer care earlier on. Then try to be as civil and cautious as possible. Don't be a rude person who talks anyhow. Apologize when necessary, and when and where necessary. Sometimes when it is not necessary, just apologize for peace to reign. For peace to reign. Then educate patients rather than instruct them. Educate patients rather than instruct or bully them. Educate them. Educate them rather than instruct or bully them. Take responsibility and take action where necessary. Where necessary. And ensure that staff don't talk doctors down. And you two doctors, don't talk your colleagues down. All right? Staff should restrict certain information from patients. Information that can lead to misunderstanding. All right? And then, just in case you are part of the management team of your hospital, I've put down some things here. What the hospital management should do. All right? Number one, that's to prevent violence. Develop a hospital workplace violence reporting system. There should be a system where once there's violence,
It's reported immediately. It's reported immediately. Number two, please strengthen the security force of the hospital. Have armed personnel so that nobody comes and starts assaulting your staff. Security guards are important, but we need to have at least one or two policemen. Then you must make the hospital's policy regarding certain situations clear and boldly written on walls and notice boards. What is your hospital policy for gunshot victims, for example? You put it on the wall. Because many times patients think it's the doctor's decision. So they've drawn in a patient, and the doctor is saying, I'm sorry, can I have a medical report? Or I need to ask you a question. No, just treat. Meanwhile, the doctor is following the procedure. So if you have it on the wall, it's easy for the patient, for the doctor to say, look at our procedure. It's on the wall there. So every hospital should have their policies for death and arrival cases, handling cases beyond your capabilities, and so on, okay? Install CCTV cameras in strategic locations in the hospital. You need to know what is going on and everywhere. And CCTV camera is not for finding out what happens or finding out what is happening. It should be monitored real time. What happens in most hospitals, they just record. And then after the act has occurred, they now begin to check. Okay, it's true. Look at where the guy, he actually hit that doctor. Look at where he passed to escape. That's not the work of CCTV camera, is to monitor. So that you look, the screen is somewhere being monitored, so that we know what's happening in the car park, what's happening in the wards, we know what's happening everywhere in A&E, so that immediately police is alerted, security is alerted, because you know that there's something going wrong somewhere. CCTV cameras provide avenues for complaints to be received. There should be a complaints or suggestion box in the hospital. Complaints phone line posted everywhere. There should be feedback forms, so that at every point in time, it's easy for the aggrieved people to vent their frustrations. Then you must improve the dispute handling system and dispute handling ability of staff. Train all staff on dispute handling and anger management, all right? So also improve the hospital's treatment procedures and facilities. Let there be power, let there be, if you cannot afford, maybe install solar, so that nobody will say it's because the light went off during the operation that this guy died. Let us make sure the ambulance is in good condition. Make sure basic things are in place. This is for management, please. Please let your management know. All right? Then improve the self-protection awareness and ability of healthcare workers. Agree on an emergency code known only to staff. All staff, the office should have a code. We could call it Mayday, or Alcatraz. Because if somebody is assaulting you, about to assault you, and you are saying, help, it's going to hit you hard and say, will you keep quiet? By the time you say Mayday, Alcatraz, once anybody hears that word Mayday, they know that whoever said that is in trouble. And then they rush towards there. So let's have a secret emergency code known only to hospital staff. Have bold warning signs on all the hospital walls, letting patients and relatives know what will be done to anyone who assaults staff. Put it boldly. If you touch our staff, you hit our doctor, hit our nurses, you'll be arrested. You'll be taken, whatever. Make sure you put it clearly. All right. So that's basically what I have been able to put together for you, for our doctors. Of course, there's much more in medical practice, but this is a non-medical part of medical practice. We've looked at customer care, the anger management, through the understanding telemedicine. We've looked at habits of highly effective doctors, preventing violence, and goal setting, time management, and so on. I hope you have learned one or two things here. This particular certificate course has nothing else. All you need to do, there's no course implication, there's no exam. Just click on the subscribe button. Click on like and subscribe in your where you're watching it now. All right, and then you screenshot what you have snapped. Send to 080-6121-4116, and your certificate will be sent to you. It's a beautiful certificate from Hospitrain. I say it again, no course implications, no exams. You've listened to what I have to say. Just click on the subscribe button now on the screen. Once you've clicked on the subscribe button there, and then like, that's optional. Screenshot and send to 080-6121-4116 via WhatsApp with your full name, and your certificate will be sent to you, the e-copy, which you can print out. That's basically what we have for you. Hospitrain remains committed to enhancing capacity all over the world. The name again is Afolabi Adun, and the contact is 080-6121-4116. 4116. I'd like to say this to you as I round up. Never be frustrated, never be demotivated. Every doctor, make up your mind that you are making progress, that things are going to get better for you, and that whatever it is, whatever your plans and aspirations are, they will materialize. Never have a bad day because somebody else is having a good day. And remember, life does not give you what you deserve, but life gives you what you demand. The door of success opens to those who push hardest. Make up your mind to be the best doctor that ever lived. Add value. Add value. Treat patients well, with courtesy, with regard. Remember the 6 pillars of customer care. Thank you. And remember to click the subscribe, the like, and the subscribe button. Screenshot it and send to 08061214116, and your certificate will hit you the following day. Thank you. God bless you.